Today's practical tango advice. Today's practical tango advice has everything to do with the follower and a little bit to do with the lead. This is what I refer to as the follower's apology. What am I yapping about? The follower's apology. Well, instead of yapping about it, which is what I'm going to spend a whole lot of time, at least 10 minutes yapping about this, I want to show you the idea. So let's assume for the moment that I'm leading traveling ochos, and for some weird reason I change my mind and I turn away from the follower. Now, at this particular juncture, the follower is going to utter two words. You know what they are?
I'm sorry.
What is she apologizing for? What on earth is the follower apologizing for? Here's what the follower is apologizing for. They're apologizing for not reading the lead's mind. Let's spell this out a little bit. The follower is apologizing for not being telepathic enough to magically infer what is telepathically hearing in the lead's mind, that some obstacle occurred behind them, that they are now supposed to magically go, yes, absolutely, I knew exactly what was going to happen there. I should have been a little bit more Jane on the spot with that idea. Not. This is asking an inordinate amount of the follower. And yet, I got news for you. Every follower in the world has done this. So it happens with so much frequency that you are not even aware as a follower that you're doing it. You are going to magically infer that X, Y, and Z is occurring, and then
I'm sorry.
Apologize for it. Is this desirable? Answer: no, it's not. There's a reason why this happens. As a matter of fact, there are two reasons why it happens. The first reason it happens is that followers are quite literally designed from the moment go to believe that they are wrong. I'll say that again. They are designed from the moment go that they believe that everything that they're doing is wrong. Their source material is, I screwed up, so it must be me. The lead can't possibly be wrong. No, the lead is never wrong. The follower must be wrong. It's always their fault. And that's the first problem. The second reason why this happens has everything to do with the lead. What? I know, it's the realm of the hard to believe. Leads, we are just perfect. Not. The reason that it has everything, look at that giggle right there. And the reason she's giggling is not because it's funny, it's because as a follower, she has experienced this same lead arrogance over and over and over and over again, that the lead can't possibly be wrong. And now we're getting to the second reason. The lead believes that, I did nothing wrong. This is lead arrogance right there. So we have this dynamic that occurs of I am always right, and the follower is always wrong. So they end up saying,
I'm sorry.
For doing absolutely what they were led to do. I'll say that one more time because you need to hear it. The follower is saying,
I'm sorry.
For following what the lead was asking them to do. Let me get this straight. You're apologizing as a follower for following what you were led to do. What? That makes absolute batshit craziness going on in reality. It's not real. It's not logical. It's not how we ideally want to operate in the dance. All right. So how do you solve for this problem? Well, believe it or not, the solution to this problem is not as easy as you might imagine. I'm going to put two possible solutions on the table, and one of them sounds really easy to do. The other one, not so much with that. So here it is. You could not say,
I'm sorry,
and instead smile, giggle, nod, and wave. However, the reason why this one is really hard, and it's really hard, is because this is ingrained habit. You do this you will do this without even thinking about it. And the words will come out of your mouth as a follower. You will apologize even though you're unaware of it. So item number 2 on this list, how do you stop this from happening? Well, believe it or not, it's actually not the follower in this case. It's the lead. That when you lead X, Y, and Z, and you change your mind, and the follower says,
I'm sorry.
you stop right in that moment and you say, dear, it's not your fault, it's all mine. You take responsibility for that. It's not the follower's issue, it's the lead's issue. Take responsibility for what you were leading. Now, I am not slapping you in the face about this one. I'm simply pointing out that there is a dichotomy that happens in Argentine tango at this point, where the follower is constantly blamed for X, Y, and Z, and that, or bashed for X, Y, and Z, and that is not what we're after here. We want to empower them, we want to enlighten them, we want to create a lovely experience for them, and that starts with the lead where the lead stops being arrogant about what they are leading, and instead, and I know some people are going to argue with this, instead that they are more egalitarian about this, and instead taking full and complete responsibility. Now, there's two more things that we have to talk about here. One is that, and this one's going to shock you a little bit, the follower is always right. One more time. The follower is always, always, always right. And I know that you'll have a hard time believing that, but hear me out. If the follower was led to do X, Y, and Z, and they did X, Y, and Z, then they're not wrong. It's that simple. They're not wrong. If they were following what they were led to do, if they hear X, Y, and Z, if they hear traveling ochos, then they're not wrong. That's it right there. If they hear X, Y, and Z, they're not wrong. Where's the wrong part? It's where the lead magically changes their mind and does X, Y, and Z. All right. Now the next piece, the very last thing that I want to talk about is, from the follower's perspective, there is a legitimate place to say I'm sorry, a very legitimate place. And that's when the follower quite literally steps on the lead's foot, even though said lead deserves it more than likely, or two, that they quite literally run into someone or something or an object. There's nothing that in that particular instance, the I'm sorry is very warranted. But it is only at that point. Under any other case, the saying
I'm sorry
is not necessarily warranted. All right, that is your today's practical tango advice. Thank you very much to Anna for her time and her patience in putting up with me yapping about this stuff, not to mention her having to yap. Thank you for your time and your patronage in hearing me yap about this stuff, and I look forward to seeing you and you in class. Bye! Dun, 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 dun.